this story about the miracle chicken. It happened right here in Los Angeles, where thousands of people saw it and can testify to it. And all the newspapers printed stories about it. So there isn't anybody has any call to doubt it. Nowadays, it's mighty hard to make children believe in the miracles told about in the Bible. Don't even believe in Santa Claus much anymore. That's why this story about the miracle chicken is so important.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Knox Manning speaking. The strange occurrence which you're about to see pictured here is an extremely interesting and true happening. It lends weight to the old saying that... well, that's why, as a news commentator, I became interested in the strange phenomenon of Lazarus, the headless chicken. Now, occasionally, strange happenings like this have been reported, but I believe that this is the first time that a chicken without its head has lived long enough to become front-page copy all over the land and featured in leading magazines such as Life. I reported this story on the air myself. When I first heard of it, I never expected to see it become national news or to see the courts themselves enter the picture. It did become an amazing story, however, one which I'm not asking you to consider in the light of supernatural manifestation or as a miracle. I'm merely reporting what's happened and giving you an opportunity to see it through motion pictures. There are no actors playing parts in this film. Principals, spectators, neighbors, and friends, which you'll see, all participated, and the event has been photographed just as it occurred. Thousands of persons found their way down the obscure little street where all this took place, and through the front gate of the house that you'll see. Rather than my telling you the story, I'll let one of the neighbors, Mr. Taylor, who saw it all happen, tell you about it in his own words.
Did you ever see a chicken with no head? Walk around and flop his wings? That he'd come to you and do a little trick for you if you asked him to? Everybody likes to know about the mystery of the headless chicken. I imagine you'd like to see that chicken, would you? Would you like for me to take you to see it? All right, come with me right now, and I'll take you to see that chicken. And on the way, I started to tell him all about it. Seems as if this day it all began. Mrs. Green aimed to fix herself a chicken dinner. Mrs. Green is just the one that can do it, too, because through her popular restaurant, she is known through the Midwest as Aunt Martha, famous for her fried chicken, Southern style.
You know how the flowers did blooming beautiful this morning. It looks fine.
Yeah, they sure do. It's a fine day for a good chicken dinner, baby.
That's a grand idea. Let's go right away and get one.
Let's go.
So she and her husband moseyed down to the feed store and bought a fine, fat rooster. And the feed store man took the axe and whacked that rooster's head right off. Then he wrapped him up in a parcel and put him in the basket with the groceries for Aunt Martha's husband to carry home. Aunt Martha left the chicken in the sink, figuring to scald and to pluck it by and by when she got around to it. But that bird wasn't having any of that. No, sir. He up and flopped his wings and scared Aunt Martha clear through. Well, when she realized that chicken had no intention of being fried, Aunt Martha knew it for a miracle, for science says nothing nor nobody can live with his head cut off, because the head is where the brain's supposed to be, and the brain's supposed to direct all the mechanism of the body. But that chicken was living with his head cut off, and that had to be a miracle and nothing else. Well, Aunt Martha started feeding that headless bird with an eyedropper, and it got to know her somehow and made friends with her. As the days passed and the story spread, thousands of people came to see the Headless wonder for themselves, and naturally people all over the world got interested in it. But the most amazing part of it all was that the lame and the halt and the blind came to see it and to be healed, because thought that if God could make a chicken live without a head, he might work other miracles. And many of those who came were actually healed. Many of the people who were cured signed affidavits testifying to the fact that they were healed. Here are a few. I came to Mrs. Green the 2nd of April. I was very sick. I thought I was going to die. That night before, I was speechless. The next morning, I called Mrs. Green. She said she was going to pray for me. I came over and she laid hands on me. Now I'm healed. I didn't know her only through the Headless Rooster. Through her, God healed my body. Signed, Bertha Lee Nelson of 1028 East 33rd Street, Los Angeles. Witness, Reverend M. Beard, L.C. Mickles, and myself. I came to Sister Green's home one morning. I was very sick, and I hadn't eaten in a week. I asked her to pray for me, and she prayed for me, and the Lord healed me. When she prayed for me, and I had breakfast with her, she anointed my body with oil. I've been working and feeling fine ever since, and I thank God for healing my body. Ruby Smith, witness, M. Beard, L.C. Mickles, Clarence R. Garrett, and myself. I have known Ms. Martha Green for many. I have been at Mrs. Green's home many times and have seen wonderful cures brought about there. Reverend M. Beard, 723 East Jefferson Boulevard. Witness,